Alright, so I think I can end this whole doctor disrespect discourse with one simple fact. The victim in question is more than likely closer to Doc's daughter's age than they were to Doc. That's all that really needs to be said. And for anyone that's gonna try to say, well, what about it? Ugh. Hi everyone. YouTube Gang J. Cole here. Hi, thank you for joining me today. If you are watching this video, it is probably because you enjoy the occasional bit of drama like I do. I am Reptaris, also known as Elijah. I normally write video essays, but with everything that's been going on with the Dr. Disrespect stuff, I wanted to just kind of put my part out there. Yes, I know, I only have about 2,000 subs, or just under 2,000 subs, so am I trying to vulture off the body of the leech or something like that? Yeah, kinda, because he was a scumbag. And he admitted to being a scumbag. So, I don't care. I will pick the corpse. But also, as somebody who went to college for broadcast journalism, the amount of just ignorance and disinformation that is going out there right now has just enraged the nerd in me to the point that I am making this video pretty much debunking most of these common things that I hear as rebuttals to Doc's situation where he admitted that he did the thing that he did. And before you ask, yes, I thought of the thumbnails before I started recording this video. So yeah, quick little bit of background about me. I have worked in corporate America for about the last 10 years. One of my first jobs was at Amazon, working as a partner specialist. I've also worked within gaming. I've also worked within different tech companies. So that is where a lot of my personal experience is coming from in all this. And on top of that, I am a father of 4 children, with my oldest being non-binary. And yeah, I may only have 2,000 subs, but one thing I always hear is that people with platforms do not use them enough to actually try to spread positivity and do good things. Which is also why I find this whole thing frustrating. It's like, how can you be rich and famous and still do this messed up stuff? Like, why? Also, before we really get started, I normally do video essays, so if you end up kind of liking my vibe, check out some of my stuff afterwards, and if you end up liking that, maybe consider subscribing. I'm very close to 2,000, so woo woo. And also, my Kirby shirt is my trans rights shirt, so there. And also, I've been doing some things that are very cool and very legal in Washington State, compared to my video essays, which are more thought out, so this might be a bit more rambly. So the amount of misconceptions and just straight up falsehoods that I am seeing people say as a way of somehow exonerating Doc or making it seem like it's not as bad as it really is disgusting. It is concerning, and like, why? I just don't understand why so many people are telling on themselves for the sake of a man who plays a character, a man who basically lives kayfabe. You have all these people who talk about like how drag queens are sitting there and corrupting children, when the real person wearing a costume and a wig was in the room the whole time, which is just a level of irony that is just so universal. Everything about this whole thing has been universal. From the Elden Ring music playing in the background when Doc got his text, Kai Cenat doing the math and having that gong going on in the background, like...
2024, 3-7. 42 minus 7 is 35. This nigga's... What the fuck?
You cannot tell me the universe, as soulless and heartless as it is, doesn't have a little bit of a sense of humor. This probably should have been done in a order of events type of list, but it's too late for that. Here we are. So, first misconception, he would have gone to jail. It really astounds me that it is only during stuff like Save the Children do people think that the police and law enforcement actually do anything. The police have a lot more going on than to investigate an appropriate message from an adult and a minor. Like, that's just the reality of it. They have to investigate murders, they have to cover up murders. So, I mean, there's a lot that they have to worry about that unfortunately takes precedent to other things that are predatory, which is not in any way obligated to tell the police of any wrongdoing that was done on their platform. Like, there's so much to this that the last thing that Twitch wants is for this to go to court and then for the discovery phase to happen. For those of you who don't know, the discovery phase is basically when both sets of lawyers get access to everyone's stuff and they get to go through everything. So that means that if Discovery opened up, they would get to go through all of Doc's messages. They would probably get to go through a whole bunch of Twitch's messages, and it would probably end up looking bad for everyone. You have to remember, Twitch is a corporation, and that corporation is also owned by Amazon. Like, so from my personal experience, here's a little bit of a story. When you work within Amazon corporate, you know, you get access to a lot of their internal infrastructure and all that, and you can look up things like trouble tickets. So say that, you know, certain network is down or whatever, you can look up the trouble ticket for that and then just keep up tabs. When you join Amazon, you don't even have to be there that long to hear rumblings of a an archive trouble ticket that talks about how a manager and their subordinate, or maybe it was two people that work within the same I can't remember the specifics, but basically two married people not married to each other, got caught hooking up in a conference room. And I'm pretty sure that there was a power imbalance in there as well with this whole thing. While this specific thing may not be technically illegal or anything like that, it is still a huge do not do that. That is still a huge just blemish on your personality as a leader and as a manager and as somebody that holds any amount of power. So yeah, while it may be something that can just be shared as a funny anecdote or a funny story for Amazon employees, at the same time, this is proof about the fact that they don't care enough to take it to the cops. If you commit some sort of assault at a happy hour or something like that, you're probably going to get fired. Are you going to go to jail for it? I don't know. But more often than not, especially if you are high enough in the ladder or have enough money or power or whatever, they'll just tell you to go somewhere else and they'll keep it on the hush for you. So no, Twitch was in no obligation to tell the police about Doc's messages, nor was it really in their best interest because of the fact that, I mean, Twitch has had this reputation of basically being one step away of adult content for young children. And that is something that a lot of people are saying now as a way to defend Doc. And we'll get back to that because that's just disgusting virgin activity right there. Another thing I keep saying is people talking about the minor in question's age, trying to say that for some reason that they're 17 when we haven't verified the age yet. And even if they were 17, that is still a minor. A minor. He admitted to inappropriately talking to a minor. It doesn't matter if they were 17. It doesn't matter if they were 13. Under 18 is under 18. This man was older than I am. I am turning 34 this year, and I know better. Like, I would feel weird trying to flirt with a woman in her 20s. So the thought of even trying to talk to a high schooler, it is disgusting. Like I said at the beginning, like me trying to talk to a 17-year-old would mean that they are closer to my eldest child's age than they are to me. And that is so gross. I don't understand. And I've seen things on Twitter being like, well, you know, if I was in a club and I was hitting up a girl or whatever, I would assume that she was probably at least 21. And it's like, no, first off, what clubs are you going to? The only clubs that would even give you that risk would be those clubs that have teen night And if you're already going to a club that hosts a team night, you know exactly what you are doing. There are people that are insisting that they need to see the messages to determine the level of inappropriateness, which is weird and, once again, very concerning behavior. First off, there is the chance of the person being doxxed there, and then if they end up redacting the person's username, all you're ever going to hear is, oh well, this is fake, this is made up. And those people will never ever actually be happy with whatever they see anyways, because if they saw the actual plain text transcripts, and when I say plain text, I mean like open up a notepad and just start typing something, and that is the format that these transcripts are going to be in. No bloody need fan in their right minds would ever be like, oh yeah, I saw the plain text and I changed my mind now. No, they're going to say that that was fake. They're going to say that they need to see essentially a video capture of the messages being exchanged in order for it to be enough proof for them. And even then, oh, it's just AI. Oh, you see the pixel? That's AI. The goalposts are being moved in such a way that, like, we have essentially created a whole new sport. People are mistakenly saying that he was cleared in court, and no, he wasn't. He settled his case with Twitch through arbitration. He didn't win, it got settled. And that's a very, 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 very big difference. In no point during this settlement, it never went to court, so he was never cleared in court because of the fact that one party or both parties decided to settle so that this whole thing would never see the light of day, and then we would never be here having this conversation right now. When people say that it's just journalists that are running a rumor for clicks and clout, and journalism is dead anyways, like it, I think that that was something that could have been debated up until the Bloomberg article, because what people don't realize about like actual mainstream top tier journalism is that they have to go through so many different layers and so many different checks of verification just to be able to have a chance to run a story. Like, people are so happy to try to sue newspapers because of the fact that they print out something that paints them in a bad light, and they can't because there are libel laws and because they have verified sources and all this other stuff. Like, suing for libel is notoriously hard in the United States, and people that keep pointing at Johnny Depp being like, yeah, it's gonna be Johnny Depp all over again, that didn't really work out for him well either. It was just him being the less toxic of a very toxic couple. Tell me you don't know how the real world works without telling me that you don't know how the real world works. And all this harping that I see on anonymous sources is ridiculous because they're only anonymous to the people reading the story. The reporter knows who they are. It's not like they're just getting a random email from a Joe Schmo at deepthroat.com, because I'm making a Deep Throat reference to friggin' not JFK, Reagan. But I mean, the sources are anonymous for a reason. We have a bunch of grown men frothing at the mouth to know the identity of this young person that interacted with Dr. Disrespect. And I can only imagine how much of a living hell that life would be for them and their family. So, no. Why do you want to know the identity of this minor so that you can somehow grill them and question them and talk about how they were lying or how they really wanted it or something weird like that? But as I was saying, like, the goalposts are moving super duper fast. You have people like Sneeko that are doing the whole libertarian thing and just talking about age of consent laws and trying to equate it to it being bad to hook up with a 17-year-old, but the second that they turn 18, it's okay for them to do something like an OnlyFans, which, first, oh my god. Like, apparently I need to point out how predictable it was that people were going to start shifting the blame to women who stream, because that's what always happens with these weirdo incel virgin types, especially the ones that tried to do content creation themselves and got nowhere because they don't have a personality. And yes, while I think there is something to be said about like the hot tub streams and stuff like that, yeah, well, that's a fair debate. At the same time, acting like doing a stream like that is equal to going into the DMs of a minor and having potentially lewd conversations, and the whole inappropriate thing once again, like, if they were inappropriate as in like he was saying some racial slurs or something like that, I think that he would be more than willing to admit that than to just leave it at inappropriate, which is one of those things that when he says inappropriate, we all know what he means. It, like, we, the royal we, know what he is talking about when we say inappropriate conversations with a minor. So for people to be like, we don't know the content of those conversations, you do. You're just not wanting to admit it to yourself, or you're just being ignorant on purpose. Or maybe you really are that ignorant and I just can't help you. If so, like, share, subscribe. But yeah, trying to shift the blame to Twitch and women who do more provocative content on Twitch is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic. Go touch grace, go touch grass. Learn to change who you are so you can actually go on a date with someone. Jesus Christ. And like, in all of this, we have a bunch of grown men trying to defend a father and serial cheater that was messaging a minor inappropriately. But, when you basically turn yourself into a martyr for a culture war, it does end up becoming that whole teams mentality, which is just weird. But the thing that kills me the most about this whole situation is that these people went from like save the kids to defending Doc and saying, oh no, it's okay to save the date of a certain person's 18th birthday, because then they'll be technically legal. So that's where we're at now. And because of the fact that I like to follow a lot of journalists on Twitter, I have been seeing rumblings of more coming out, like, I guess by the end of this week. I've already seen a couple things that have dropped that I'm sure will probably be picked up on. There was a trans woman on Twitter who does like modeling and stuff like that, OnlyFans, and apparently she was saying that her and Doc were having essentially quite a bit of conversations back and forth, and oh man, those messages, I am obviously not going to post them here, but woo, it's gonna get spicy. So I guess we'll see what happens from here. I just kind of felt like doing something that would be considered more of a second channel type of video, but I don't have a second channel yet. So if you want me to do more of these types of videos, these more off-the-cuff, rambly type of videos, more ADHD filled, let me know. Maybe I'll start up a second channel just for that. Other than that, I guess let me know how you... But other than that, how do you feel about this completely ridiculous situation and this conversation that we shouldn't have to be having, but we're having? What do you think? So yeah, that's all I got. Feel free to leave your hate comments. I don't care. I know what makes you cheer, so your boos mean nothing to me. And yeah, I hope the rest of you have a great day. And if you like video essays, check out my video essays, because I think that they're pretty good. So once again, off the cuff, this is me. All right, bye.